This is a video of the theories that underpin the spiral, or how we relate to our internal emotional landscape in the context of going through the spiral. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is self-responsibility. So we work with this idea that we are responsible for our own emotions, and how we feel is only our responsibility. This allows us to navigate the world in a more mature way when it comes to emotions. So, for example, we would operate under the thought that if I feel anger, it's not someone's fault that I'm angry. So no one made me feel angry. I felt angry in response to maybe something or someone outside of myself, a circumstance, a behavior, and that anger is absolutely valid, but no one made you feel or made me feel angry. So that's taking self responsibility for our emotions. And this is a really powerful, I guess, principle to live by, because then it allows us to ask ourselves first, like, what in me is causing this anger, or what in me is driving the sadness, or where is this trigger coming from? And if we take responsibility for it ourselves first, then we can start to relate to emotions in a more mature way, because we're not going around the world blaming and shaming and projecting our emotions onto our external world, whether that's people or places or things. And I guess the second piece of this is sort of what I've already led into. It supposes this concept of self-responsibility supposes that we are responsible for our emotions, and hence we don't project. And it allows us to kind of pick up on when we might be projecting and kind of vomiting our emotions or our triggers or our responses onto the external world, people, places, or things. Um, and so when we start to cultivate the self responsibility muscle, not only do our relationships improve, because again, there's no blame or shame or projection, but we're able to hold and contain our emotions within ourselves and kind of look at what we're feeling and what we're experiencing and what's kind of moving in our bodies, and ask as a starting point, like, what is this all about? What is this meaning, the meaning that I'm making? So it's also about asking ourselves about our thoughts, like, what meaning am I making about this experience that I'm having? What story am I telling myself? So it's not just emotional, it's also mental, our thoughts around a thing. Um, and then it allows us to self-inquire and be curious about what's driving it. And then, as like another layer to self-responsibility, it allows us to voice then, like, I'm feeling a certain way, and when X happens, I feel this way. So talking in I language is also part of self-responsibility. So I would really encourage us, when we're working together, for you to speak in I. You know, sometimes when people talk about an emotion or an experience, when it's about themselves, they talk in you. They go, you know, when you feel blah, 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 you know, or when you, and it's like, no, no, no. What, refer to I. So use I. So when I feel angry, I tend to project on people, or I tend to blurt it out, or whatever. But when I feel, or when I experience, or I experienced this, when this happened with you the other day, I felt angry. And what I really needed in that experience is to blah, like what I needed, not what you needed, because it's about me. And so taking responsibility for our emotions means talking in I language and being able to express our needs, wants, desires, requirements, boundaries, etc., from that place, and getting more intimate with what they are for ourselves, because oftentimes we're not intimate, or we're not understanding of what we really need and want and desire and require. But as our self responsibility and our self understanding as well develops, that ability to express and communicate from those that I language, those places, or about those things for ourselves. Like, I have a desire for, I have a need for, like, I felt angry because I felt uncared for, and I have a really, high need for care or for presence or whatever. I'm just riffing, but these are some examples of where the self-responsibility can lead and how it can amplify and make our lives and also our relationships a lot more wholesome and a lot more loving. So that is the first principle, self-responsibility.